Are you really thinking about moving to Mississippi in 2026? Don't you know that Mississippi is the worst state? You definitely don't want to be moving here. Well, that may be what you've heard, but things are changing. Matter of fact, they have changed a good bit. And there's a lot of new information that you're going to need if you're somebody thinking about making that move, and a few little tools that might be really helpful for you too in finding the right area for you, because that is going to be very important. So I've got the list here for you, the 6 things you're going to want to know. Let's jump right in, starting with probably one of the big reasons you're moving here in the first place, and that is the cost of living. Did you know Mississippi is the #1 most affordable state to live in the entire country? Here in the Jackson, Mississippi metro, you can get a home and the median price is $262,000, and that is for the overall metro. We'll get into that a little bit more as we go along, but if you could remote work, I'm telling you, that's a little cheat code for what we're talking about. But it's not the only cheat code. I've got a few more for you too, because the costs are only getting better. Right now, the income tax, we do have an income tax in Mississippi for now, but you see it says it's going to 0. It's 4% right now, and that will be decreasing to 3% by 2030. And then from there, between there and 2040, should be going down to 0, basically with the law as they have it signed and written right now. So that's a relatively new development. It's something a lot of people have been pushing for a long time. Now, I do want to give you the honest truth with that, though, because it's not all good. I want to be honest with you and up front. There are some things going up and down. So that's going down. You got that on the first 10,000 though at 0 tax. So that's a good thing. And the grocery tax is also going down. We do have a sales tax on grocery. It has been 7%, which is the overall sales tax rate, but that is going down to 5%, or already has gone down to 5% actually as of July of last year. And the property taxes, y'all, I wouldn't say they're going down, but they are some of the lowest in the country. I know out in Texas, 2%, 3% can be common as an effective tax rate. Out in California, I think they're pretty much locked on 1%, which is actually pretty low, I believe. Y'all tell me if I'm right on California. But here, but about 0.6 to 0.8 is kind of the rough effective rate that you'll end up at, especially if you got that homestead exemption in place, which does lower your taxes a good bit. I've got other videos on the channel here that talk about taxes if you want to know more about that. And a little other things going up. The gas tax is going up 24 to 27 cents per gallon. I think that's a minor increase, and I think most people would probably take that over the income tax. You let me know what your thoughts are on that. Something else going up, and I think this is across the country, is home insurance. And I did look up some stats. They said about 33.53 on a $300,000 house was average in the state of Mississippi. Obviously, some things are going to kind of vary generally in what your insurance costs are, not just the base homeowner's insurance, but if you live on the coast and you got the potential of flooding, with that hurricane that comes ever so often down in that part of the state. That's a big deal down there too. So there's other things to think about. And flood insurance generally, you want to know, really, is the home you're buying in a flood zone? And, what better way to do that than get somebody with local knowledge and insight, like me. Me and Charles, if you see Charles, we work together here in the Jackson, Mississippi metro area, and we've got help all over the state. So if you're somebody that really is thinking about making that move, don't do this blind, y'all. Get somebody that kind of knows what you need to look for, because there are a few little unique things about buying a home in particular that you're going to need to know. And we would love to help y'all with that. But let's keep going here on the list. Looking at the metro, there's a little better breakdown of kind of the ranges you see in some of the different suburbs of the area. I will tell you in a few more that didn't get on this slide here. Pearl is going to be around 245 as a median. Richland about 220, and the city of Jackson, I'll give you the number. The median is 140, but man, it's a big range, 140,000 for Jackson. But different areas of Jackson are. That's why I didn't put it on the slide, because I had to do too much. If you want to know maybe a specific neighborhood, I will be glad to pull market data for you and give you those numbers. Just use that information and let me know, and I'll get you the data that you're looking for. But, not only are things cheaper, like I mentioned earlier, you can bring that remote job, that remote salary, and that's kind of a cheat code. But did you know we've got a lot of new employment opportunities here locally as well? Amazon has come in. Here in the Jackson metro, we are the healthcare hub of the state. So you have all of the hospitals here that brings in a lot as well. Obviously, also being the state capital, you do have the government jobs and things like that. So, people are surprised. We show, 800, 900,000, $1 million homes here on the channel. People are like, people can afford that in Mississippi. Yeah, you would be surprised. There are a lot of good money making opportunities here in the state of Mississippi, especially here around where we live in the Jackson Metro. And so, if you can get in on that and take advantage of stretching that dollar further with that lowest cost of living in the entire country, you're going to be set up pretty well. Now, one thing that you do need to plan for and budget for is the fact that you're going to have a car. And that's pretty much anywhere in the whole state. You do have very limited public transportation in Jackson. They do have JTran, but once you get out of the city limits, that goes away. So you're going to need a car pretty much wherever you are. And that is going to come with its own set of costs, including the car tag. Here in Mississippi, they base it on the value of the vehicle. So when you get a new vehicle, if you get a nice new vehicle, that tag might be kind of pricey. When I got sticker shock, honestly, when I moved to Mississippi and bought my first car in Mississippi, my first new vehicle, and it was like $600, and that was several years ago. That was a while back. My truck right now, just to tell you, it's a little over $400. I got to renew it next month. I think it's $435. I have a 2023 Ford F-150 XLT. It's reasonably nice. It ain't a luxury vehicle by any means, but a little over $400 for that. The good thing is it does go down over time as you own the vehicle and it gets older and the price goes down, or the value goes down. So does the price of that car tag, which is nice. And yes, we also mentioned, since you have a car, you're probably going to be buying gas, and that gas tax is going up just a little bit. Now, here's the question that we do get asked all the time, and that is really about Jackson. People are looking at all kinds of things, and especially if you're not from here and you don't know what areas or what, there's a little confusion, but let me just kind of clear up some of that for you, because these are some of the big questions we get asked. Is it safe, or where is it safe, and where's not safe, or is it getting better, is it getting worse? And then the big one here in the last few years is, what about the water? I literally had people call me, friends I have in other states, and they said, are you okay? How are you bathing? What are you doing? And I live in Flowood. Flowood is a suburb of Jackson over here on the east side. Flowood has its own water system, just like most of the suburbs. A little part of Byram is an exception to that, but pretty much all of the suburbs and anywhere outside the city limits of Jackson is going to have its own water system. But I'll have some good news on that front too here in just a second, if you'll stick with me, because let's go back, because the big thing people want to know about is the crime and the safety. And I have kind of felt like for a while that one of the best ways to show you where the crime is, because I can't really tell you my opinion on what's safe. I'm a real estate agent. I can't steer you to an area. I can't do that. But I can give you data. And I did find a really good data source for you, and that is going to be the WLBT tracker. WLBT is our local station here, and they have this nice tracker that you can get on here. I'll put the link to this down in the description, and it kind of breaks down some different areas. You see we have this little orange block right here. That is going to be the CCID, or Capital Complex Improvement District, or effectively it is where the state has expanded the Capitol Police to help patrol a broader area of the capital city, which is Jackson. And you can see right there within that boundary, there's only been one homicide so far this year. And it has been solved. So that's another thing I like. You can actually see, are they solving and clearing these cases, or are they kind of going unsolved? So you can look on the map and see that, see where things are happening. You can add more years if you want to and make it look a lot worse, I guess. But, talking about the other years, here's the positive thing. If we can scroll down here, check this out. So you see the red line is 2026, and you see all these other years. We were a lot higher, especially in 2021. 2021 was not a good year. And while no homicide is good, it is good to see that they are coming down and much lower than they have been in years in the past. So, you could talk about a lot of things. You could talk about whether the expansion of the CCID and Capitol Police is helping with that, or just general trends are getting better, other things in the city. But whatever the cause is, I like seeing the fact that, hey, things are getting better. So I'll take it. And you can see there, we've got 4 straight years of decline. Obviously, still some work to be done, but it's nice to see that things are improving. And you could apply that theme to some other things in Jackson, like the water situation there. They became fully compliant in 2025. met all the safe drinking standards that they need to, and they're getting ready to transition back from federal oversight on that. So it's nice to see that things are progressing and improving, not only in the areas that people look at for growth, like Madison or some of the other places around the metro, but actually in the city of Jackson too. Now, if you're moving here from somewhere else, especially if you're coming here from up north, this is something that we do need to talk about. I always want to mention this because I know that you know that it's hot. I know that you understand that you're moving to the south, or maybe you're moving from like Arizona or California, okay, or somewhere where you've dealt with a little bit of heat. What you need to know, it's not a dry heat. It is a hot, wet heat. It is very humid here. If you go look at years and averages, sometimes more humid than Florida or Louisiana. It's real humid. Okay. Just get ready for that. Your AC bill is going to be a little bit higher. And yes, we do have some thunderstorms and things like that come through, the occasional tornado warning. And I have another tool for you on that. Just a second. We'll come back to tornadoes. But I want to talk about the positive. Winter is not really a big deal here. I like that the slide here. I didn't pick out everything that's on this slide. It says about 6 weeks. Those are not consecutive. It can't be a week here and there that will make up the winter. You might have a random week of winter in March. That can happen too. So winter is a little sporadic, but winter is typically not involving any snow. If there's any snow at all, maybe just an inch or two. Nobody here owns a snow. Nobody here owns a snow shovel. Nobody here owns a snow blower. You're just never going to see that. It's just really not that big of a problem. Now, talking about the tornadoes, I went and found the other tool here for you for that. And this is just interesting to me. So I'm going to show it to you. This is 76 years of tornado data. Look at that. Just everywhere. The whole state is just slam packed covered with tornadoes. If you zoom in, it doesn't look too bad. Obviously, there's a lot of area in between. Remember, this is 70 years, and that's all tornadoes. Notice most of them are in that, I would say, blue, green, and yellow band, which are going to be minor tornadoes that, the yellow ones might do a little roof damage or things like that, but they're not going to be really deadly tornadoes for the most part. If I switch to deadly tornadoes, again, 70 years. Trying to get this to work right. 70 years worth. You can see here, this is all over the state. And if you go pull up just 1 year of tornadoes, and the screen's going to jump around again. There you go. Now, I don't want to downplay tornadoes, okay, because they are a serious thing. You do need to have a plan. It's nice to have a closet cleaned out or something, or just a room that you can go to on the interior of your home, because they do happen. But are you just constantly in fear of this, or your neighbor's house and the whole neighborhood going to get blown down, down the streets? Probably not. Statistically, very unlikely, even here in Mississippi, where you probably hear about tornadoes being a big deal all the time. Now, getting back to another reason a lot of people might be moving here, but if not, if you're coming here for the job, the money, let me just give you a few pointers on the culture of Mississippi and some things that you're going to have to get used to. Yes, it's not uncommon to wave. You're driving by, wave at people, hold the door. It blows my mind when people don't hold the door, and it's just because I'm so used to it. You're going to hold the door for whoever's coming behind you, and I feel really bad. If I'm walking and I accidentally forget to grab the door, and then somebody kind of hits them, or they got just don't do that. Pay attention and try to get that. So, yes, that's going to happen. People are very friendly. That is the number one comment I get from people coming from other parts of the country to visit the area for this first time, is just how friendly everybody is. And the slower pace of life. Yes, there's not very much traffic. If you're coming from a bigger metro, we don't really have probably what you call traffic, unless there's been an accident or something like that. You can get backed up a little bit on the spillway between Rankin County and Madison County, but that's only at, between 4:30 and 5:30 really. And other than that, it's really not bad at all. And when I say backed up, it might take you 15 minutes to get across instead of 5. It's really, again, not a big deal. So you have that. And yes, we are in the Bible Belt. Church is a big thing. A lot of people are going to go to church on Sunday. I don't know if this happens all over the country, but a lot of the churches around here, the police will have to come out and have to direct traffic for people getting in and out of church, because it's just the traffic coming in and out of church is a lot more than really the road can handle in a lot of these places. So does that happen in other parts of the country? Let me know that. I'm telling you that so that it's a big deal. Not that you feel like you actually have to go, okay? But, if you show up at the Mexican restaurant at 12:15 on a Sunday, that's on you. That's all I'm saying. If you if you didn't go to church, it's okay. Nobody's judging you for it. It's not that big a deal, but just know that a lot of people will go. And if you want to get into going, hey, you can do it. And it's kind of just part of, again, the culture of Mississippi and really broader the South. And one other thing that's, I almost want to say is close to religion, I guess, in a sense, is college football and college sports in general, I guess. Now, you're going to have to pick a side, and I'm not going to tell you what side you have to pick. That's really going to be up to you, whether you want to be State or Ole Miss, and you're going to have to kind of evaluate it, I guess, and see what makes sense. You know, we're in the SEC. It is what it is. And, you know, I guess you don't really have to pick a side, but, you know, if you just kind of pay attention and look for clues, I think you'll figure it out. But in all seriousness, y'all, if you got that opportunity or you're thinking about making that move here to Mississippi in 2026, definitely reach out to us. Even if you're just in the early stages and you have questions, I'd love to help from that stage all the way to finding you that new home here in Mississippi. This is the number you can call, text, or you can email. Or if you just want to find out a little bit more, see what the houses here look like, things like that. We do that here on the channel all the time. I'll actually pop up a video for you right there. That's going to have some other information that you're probably going to want to know. So check it out. I'll see you there.